There are many persons who are literate in the traditional sense, being able to read and write, but their ability to seek information, verify information, place information in context, and use that information to change their behavior and inform their expressions. That is not a widely spread skill and functionality in our society.
Don't call her name.
Unfortunately.
Don't call her name.
Unfortunately. So, for example, while there is copious amounts of information about vaccines, and if you really wanted to find out about vaccines, you could get the information. The government puts out the information, and if you don't believe the government, there are many other sources. If you don't believe what the Ministry of Health here is saying, then you can follow the CDC, or you can follow the WHO, or the information is there. But you may choose to follow some, let me not go there. But it depends on how you seek information, how you interpret the information, that will impact your behavior. But, Madam Speaker, it is not only the impact on your behavior. How you process information, Madam Speaker, will determine your life chances. So one of the things I'm very concerned about is that persons who seek legitimate and contextualized information will probably make the decision to take the vaccines. And others who don't will probably make the decision not to. How is this going to affect the equitable recovery of the society? That is a question that we have to wrestle with. Let's take it, let's move from the individual level, but let's take it from a country level. We are already seeing that countries that have high levels of vaccination, their society is returning to normal. Their economy is booming and returning to normal. The problem, Madam Speaker, is that the information dimension of poverty, which we don't usually pay attention to, we assist people with the income dimension of poverty. We try to give them conditional cash transfers or just straight cash transfers. We try to help them with jobs. We try to ensure that we have social safety nets to buffer the income. The access to amenities dimension of poverty. We try to give people health care and proper roads and proper housing. But we have to spend a little bit more time on the education system to ensure that the poor gets information, not just information, but that they are able to process it into knowledge and have that knowledge transform their behavior and their lives to improve their life chances so that they too can survive in the new world. The greatest challenge that we face as a government is to try and communicate positions that are in the interest of the poor. But you have people who know better who mislead and misdirect. And at the end of the day, Madam Speaker, if you ask one of those persons who preach the alternative message, you're in the hospital, or you need oxygen, or you need support, and you ask, help me. When you get sick, who you call? So I'm saying to the average Jamaican, yes, you have your free choice, and the government protects that, and we guarantee that. But we are asking every single Jamaican to use your best sense. Use your best sense. You may not trust the government. Find another source that is reputable. Get your proper information and make your right decisions. Because much of what is said on social media, carried in newspapers and news, if you really analyze it, it is a lot of noise, uninformed perspectives that lead people astray, that makes it difficult to guide decisions that are needed immediately. So we take a lot of time just trying to get to the right decision, because we have to go through this process of very detailed explanation, bite sizes, so that people can digest and process, and at the same time keep people's eyes on what is realistic, what is proper, and what is in their best interest. You know what? Let me not respond to you. Let's leave it. Yes. All right. So, Madam Speaker, another dimension of our inequality, and indeed our poverty, is informality. People don't usually look at informality as a dimension of poverty or inequality. But if you look at who is in the informal sector, a large part of the informal sector would be the poor. And some people feel that it is necessary to be informal to be protected from the state. A mindset that we have to change. Madam Speaker, informality can be voluntary or the involuntary exclusion of the citizen from the recognition and record of the government. The pandemic requires social care support from the state. When you're out of work, when you can't buy food, the government has to step in and provide the support. But the state cannot effectively do so as large numbers of our citizens do not have unique identification and are not included in the financial system. It's a big problem, Madam Speaker. When the Minister of Finance developed the CARE program and we sat down and we said, how are we going to do this? Because we have so many unbanked persons in Jamaica. Unbanked, they don't have a bank account. And then we had to figure out what level of identification are we going to use. You know, other programs, Madam Speaker, we just give away the money. There was no real attempt at trying to ensure that the designated beneficiary is the actual beneficiary that received the funds. So we face a big struggle in our society, which is really part of the definition of our poverty, that many persons want to hide away from the state, stay informal, but in issues like these, when we have a pandemic, a disaster, and the state needs to act in defense and support and protection of its citizens, it doesn't know them. And we can't just, as a member from Central Clarendon, smiling through his mask. And if he were to stand up, he would be telling us about about reparation, but the miscount of the population. Yes. The undercounting of the population. So, Madam Speaker, the point I'm making is that a part of we're trying to correct something that is deeply ingrained in the citizen, that they don't trust the state, hide away from the state, but the state can't help you when you have an emergency or a disaster. The problem is that this perspective on the state, Madam Speaker, it's not just that it has emerged as an underculture. It is preached every single day by the intellectuals of this country. Every single opportunity that they get, they decry the government and push the people away from their government. And Madam Speaker, what this government has demonstrated is that we have put in place the systems and mechanisms to be able to distribute public resources in keeping with the rules and regulations. We have distributed to 500,000 Jamaicans $20 billion. And for the first time in our history, there has not even been one complaint of any diversion, misallocation of public resources. Not one. I believe it is a watershed period in our history that Jamaicans must come into the formal system. Make yourself known to your government. Your government is not your enemy. Your government is there to protect you and look out for you. The only way, Madam Speaker, we are going to build a strong state is when every single Jamaican knows that he's recognized by his government and his government stands for him and will protect him. Madam Speaker, and if it is $1 in the budget, we're going to divide it up fairly and equally and ensure that it is distributed and accounted for fairly and equitably.